That movie nut here with a review for Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, of 2010 action comedy special effects extravaganza starring Michael Cera. The story follows Scott Pilgrim, for want of a better word, Lil Twit, who cheats on girlfriends and sleeps with his gay roommate. However, one day, a new girl arrives in town called Ramona Flowers, and soon Scott starts dating her. However, there is one big drawback. He must fight her 7 evil exes. Now, coming from the director of Hot Fuzz and Shaun of the Dead, Edgar Wright, you'd assume that this would be a pretty surprising flip. Well, you'd be right. This is perhaps one of the most unique films that I have seen in a long time. It's a multi-genre film. It combines kung fu, action, comedy, romance, and big special effects extravaganzas, and does it all actually very, very well. Now, the primary things to comment on are Michael Cera, the action, and the effects. That's pretty much the first things that you see. Now, the acting in the film overall with Michael Cera is surprisingly well done. Yes, I know it's a fad to hate on Michael, but he does a very good job here. Much better than I expected. I expected him to be as annoying as the last couple of times, but in fact he is surprisingly good at this. He very much is Scott Pilgrim. The girl who played Ramona Flowers does surprisingly well, sort of finding that sort of strange line between sort of a strange girl and someone who's really sympathetic, somebody who we feel didn't want to end up in the situation with the 7 evil exes. And the exes themselves are all played surprisingly well, and clearly all the actors enjoyed their parts. And Brandon Routh, even though he couldn't pull off Superman, pulls off a very good villain who is basically Superman in a football outfit. It's almost like the Edgar Wright are poking fun at this. Like, okay, they got characters like Superman, so they get the guy who played Superman but didn't really do that great a job. But it works fantastically here. Ralph delivers a very good performance. And the rest of the cast, such as the gay roommate, are all really funny and actually do pull off their roles very well. They are both funny and likable at the same time. Now, the visuals and effects are absolutely fantastic. The trailer already showed off some of these. Don't be fooled. Even though it's very cartoony, it has roots in manga. It's very loud, very eccentric, and very in your face. And it's clear that the effects had a lot of time taken to work on them. They are fantastic. They are some of the best effects I've seen in a long time. They don't look cheap, and they all really blend in with this sort of video game anime world that the characters live in. It works fantastically. And what's more, the film is shot in a way which the action scenes are sort of a combination of sword fights like Star Wars and traditional kung fu sequences with split screens and slow-mo, and it works surprisingly well. This mix actually is very entertaining to watch, and it feels very much like something you would see in Mortal Kombat. It has that same kind of powerful, energetic, very big feel to it, and it is just a joy to watch. The music, much like the visuals, is also very loud and rock, and it's just really in your face, again, like the visuals. And now for the final point, the script. Now, much like Hot Fuzz and Shaun of the Dead, this script is filled with plenty of hilarious and genuinely funny moments. Now, unfortunately, most of these jokes are actually linked with the story, so to really say them would be spoilers. However, I did love a line at the end with Scott and well, I'll just say a bad guy about eating brunch, which I actually found pretty hilarious, and I know it, and it got quite a few chuckles from the audience. That was really. However, the jokes are also very interpretation. Some you will quietly chuckle at, and some you will laugh out loud to. It depends on your taste of humor. This has a great variety of humor. There's a lot of intelligent, witty humor, and there's a lot of basic sort of like cheap jokes here, but it's not like a Freeberg and Seltzer movie where it's all cheap jokes. Here, they're done with a lot of intelligence and creativity, and it actually makes the movie work, comedically, because it knows when to make the big jokes and it knows when to make the little jokes. And of course, the jokes aren't just script confined. There are a lot of visual gags in here as well, as you probably saw in the trailer, with things like the P-bar and all the big words, coming out from when the characters fight, like when Scott gets thrown into a tower. The film is basically making fun of itself. It knows that it's this strange sort of kung fu, special effects, action, romance, comedy thing, and it just works within those confinements, and that's what makes it so good. It's almost like the opposite of Inception. Inception is very dark and serious. This is just so out there that you just can't help but really get involved, because everyone does such a good job, and the script is just full of so many good moments, and the action scenes are just some of the best that I've seen in a long time, that you just can't help but get wrapped into it. So for a final rating, I'll give it a gold star. This is perhaps one of the most unique action films as well as comedy films I've seen in a long time, and I really, really urge you to go see this. This is definitely a good film. Beyond that, it's a unique film. It's probably one of the most unique we're probably going to get this year. So I say go out and watch it, and I don't think you'll be disappointed.